The problem wasn't that he arrived. The problem was that he noticed things. Small things. The kind of things you stop expecting people to notice after a while. And once someone starts seeing you like that, you can't unfeel it. His name was Cyrus. My brother Billa brought him home on a Thursday. Just 3 days, Billa said. His place has a water situation. He's cool. You'll barely notice him. I noticed him immediately. Not in an obvious way. Not like a lightning bolt. More like the air. And the apartment shifted slightly when he walked in. Like something recalibrated. He set his bag down, looked around and said, "Thanks for this. I'll stay out of your way." "I thought you're already in it." "Didn't say that. First 2 days were fine. We existed in parallel. Same kitchen, different orbits. He made chai in the mornings and always without being asked left enough for one more cup. I told myself that was just good manners. It wasn't just good manners. I was already paying attention to everything he did. It's the thing nobody tells you about this kind of gay love story. It doesn't start with fireworks. It starts with a spare cup of chai. Third night, I couldn't sleep. Went downstairs at midnight. He was sitting on the floor near the couch. Laptop open. Headphones around his neck. Both hands around a mug. He looked up when I came in, not startled. Like he'd been half expecting someone. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "Never really can," I said. Short pause. Then he said, "Do you want to? Talk? Or just not be alone?" That sentence hit somewhere I wasn't ready for. I sat down on the floor next to him. We talked for almost 3 hours, about nothing important. About everything important. It's the kind of conversation you only have at midnight with someone you've known for 72 hours, or someone you feel it's like you've known your whole life and can't explain why. He told me his last relationship ended slowly. A big fight, he said. Just a slow fade. Which is somehow worse. Why worse? I asked. He looked at his mug. Because you spend months wondering if you imagined the whole thing. I knew that feeling. 2 years of it. I didn't say that out loud, but something in my face must have said it. Because he looked at me, really looked and nodded. Like he already knew. Being seen like that is a dangerous, dangerous thing. I went to bed at 3 a.m. Lay there staring at the ceiling. He's Billow's friend. "He's leaving in 2 days. This is nothing." Said it 3 times. Didn't help even once. Next morning, Billow called. "How's Cyrus doing? He's not being weird, right? He can get a little intense." "It's fine," I said. "Normal." "Liar," Good Billow said. "Just be easy with him, yeah? He doesn't handle people pulling away well." Said I would. I didn't understand yet why that felt less like advice and more like a warning. That afternoon, I was reading in the living room. Cyrus came in, glanced at the cover and said, "You're rereading that one? You know it?" I asked. "Cried at the ending," he said. Flat. No apology for admitting it. "So did I said. He smiled. Not a big smile, just the edges of one, like he was consciously keeping it small. Like he'd learned at some point that showing too much of yourself all at once was risky. I recognized that immediately, because I do the exact same thing. That evening he asked if I wanted to watch something. I said sure. I should have said no, because watching a film together means proximity. Proximity means noticing details. And I was already noticing too many, the way he sat with one knee slightly angled toward me, the way he went quiet at emotional scenes instead of commenting, the way he smelled like something warm and familiar I couldn't name. Film ended. Neither of us moved. Credits rolling. Room dark blue and quiet, and the silence between us changed. It stopped being comfortable silence, became the kind of silence that asks something. My heart was moving too fast. That specific terrible feeling standing at the edge of something, and not knowing if the other person sees the same drop you do. I opened my mouth. My phone buzzed. Bill. Quick thing. Totally forgot to mention this. Cyrus doesn't know you're gay. Didn't think it was relevant at the time, but now I'm second-guessing. LM key if you want me to say something or whatever. I stared at that text and felt the ground shift under me. He didn't know. And now everything I'd felt over 3 days looked different, and I had no idea if any of it meant what I thought it meant. I read the text 4 times. Cyrus was still right there, still looking at me, still waiting for whatever I'd been about to say before my phone interrupted everything. I locked the screen. "Everything okay?" he asked. "Yeah, just Bilal," he nodded. I looked back at the blank screen, and I sat there holding a secret inside a moment that suddenly felt like it needed to be handled very carefully. This is the thing about being gay. It's not out to someone you're starting to feel something for. It's not exactly fear, it's a calculation. An exhausting one. If I tell him now, does it reframe everything? Does it make the midnight conversation feel like something it wasn't? Does it make him uncomfortable in a space he's already a guest in? I'd done this math before. With other people. In other situations, I hated that I still had to. I made an excuse and went to bed, Cyrus said. "Good night." His voice was easy. Normal. Like the almost moment hadn't happened at all. Maybe it hadn't. Maybe I'd read chapters into punctuation. Built a story from a spare cup of chai and some eye contact at midnight. I'd done that before, too. I called Bilal. The next morning, "Why does it matter that he doesn't know?" I asked, trying to sound casual about it. A pause. "Doesn't," Bilal said carefully. "I just know you. I know that look." "What look?" "The look. You had it at my graduation when you met that guy from Karachi. You had it at Bilal. Cyrus is going through something," he said. "He just got out of a long thing. He's still." His feet, "I'm not doing anything, I know. I'm not warning you off him. I'm saying if something is happening, be honest first. That's all." I hung up feeling worse than before. Honest. Easy word. Heavy instruction. That afternoon, Cyrus was fixing a kitchen cabinet that had been crooked for 6 months. I'd been ignoring it. He'd noticed it on day 1 and apparently decided it was personally offensive to him. "You really don't have to do that," I said. "I like fixing things." He didn't look down from the step stool. "It settles me." I was handing him tools. 2 feet apart. That warm, familiar smell again. "Can I ask you something?" he said, still not looking at me. "Yeah. Why have you been careful with me today?" He came down from the step stool now, looked at me directly. "Since this morning, you've been measured." "And I don't know what I did? You didn't do anything? Okay." He turned back to the cabinet. "You don't have to tell me." And then, because the silence was doing that asking thing again, because I was tired of the calculation, because Bilal had said, "Be honest first," I said, "I'm gay." Just like that, like exhaling something I'd been holding for 3 days, he came off the step. Stool slowly looked at me. I couldn't read his face. "Okay," he said. "Bilal didn't tell you." "No." He set the screwdriver down. "Why does that change anything?" "Doesn't. I've been weird today because I didn't know if you knew, and I wanted you to know, in case it made you uncomfortable being here." "Why would it make me uncomfortable?" "It wouldn't. I didn't want you to feel, hey." His voice was quiet, steady. "I'm not uncomfortable." Picked the screwdriver back up, went back to the cabinet, and stood there with my chest doing something I didn't have a name for. That evening felt different. Not tense, not awkward, just aware. Like a new variable had entered the room, and we were both doing the math quietly. He cooked dinner. I hadn't asked. He just started, and by the time I came downstairs, the apartment smelled like garlic and something that made my chest feel soft. We ate at the table. That was new. We'd been eating on the couch before. Midway through, he said, "That thing you said last night about feeling like a supporting character in your own relationship? Hadn't realized I'd been that direct about it." "Been thinking about it," he said. "I had that too. But my ex, he was kind, present, never did anything wrong technically. But I always felt like he was looking at me and never actually seeing me." A pause. It's like I was a placeholder for an idea. Of someone. The kitchen was very quiet. "I see you," I said. I hadn't meant to say it out loud. He looked up from his plate. The silence asked its question again. Neither of us looked away this time, he said, voice lower than before. "I need to tell you something." My throat tightened. "Bilal mentioned you before I came here. He said you were private, that you were a good person." He looked at his hands. "He also said I might like you." Thought he was just being Bilal, matchmaking, because he physically cannot stop himself. I almost smiled. "But then I got here," he said. "But then I got here." The way he said it, Like arriving was the dividing line between one version of things and another. Cyrus, I started. I know this is strange timing, he said. I know I'm leaving tomorrow. I know we've known each other less than a week. I know. All of that too, I said? And it doesn't bother you? I looked at him across the dinner table. This person who fixed crooked cabinets and left extra chai and cried at book endings without apologizing for it. It bothers me less than the idea of not saying anything, I said. He was very still. Then, my phone rang. My ex thought of all the moments in the entire world. The name lit up the screen. Cyrus saw it. His eyes moved from the phone to my face, and something in his expression shifted. A door closing slightly. Old habit. Do you need to get that? He asked. Measured now. Careful. No, I said. But the moment had cracked. I could see it happen, the way his shoulders adjusted. The way he picked his fork back up. The warmth in his face pulling back by 3 degrees. He doesn't do well with people pulling away, Billy had said, and the irony was, neither did I. 2 people with the same wound, sitting at a dinner table, watching a moment slip. 1 day left. 1 conversation half finished, and both of us too scared of the wrong answer to finish it. I didn't sleep, not 1 hour. I lay in the dark and replayed the dinner table and the way his face closed when my phone rang, and the way he'd said, but then I got here like it cost him something. Real to admit. I thought about Bill's words. He doesn't do well with people pulling away. I thought about my own pattern, feeling something, letting it grow just big enough to matter, then finding reasons to shrink it. Wrong timing. Too complicated. Probably nothing. I was so exhausted by that pattern, so tired of choosing small. 5 a.m., I got up, made coffee, sat at the kitchen counter in the gray pre-dawn light, and asked myself one clean question. What do I actually want? Not what's safe. Not what's logical. Not what has clean timing and no complications. What do I want? He came downstairs at 6:30. Stopped when he saw me. Couldn't sleep, I said. Not a question. No. He went to the coffee pot, poured a cup, stood across the counter from me, quiet for a moment. Then he said, I think I said too much last night. And when your phone rang, I retreated. I do that. I know you do, I said. I've noticed. He looked at me. I do the opposite version, I said. I find reasons. Tell myself it's complicated. Tell myself the timing is wrong. I looked at my cup. I've been doing it all week with you. Is the timing wrong? He asked. You're leaving in a few hours? Not an answer. He was right. It wasn't. I looked at him across the kitchen, the gray morning, both coffees going cold. Ow. The cabinet behind him still very slightly crooked because he'd come down from the step stool and we'd never gone back to. Finish it. No, I said. The timing isn't wrong. He didn't move. I think Billa was right about you, I said. Which I will absolutely never tell him. A small laugh from him, just the edges. That careful smile he always tried to keep small. I don't know what this is, he said. We've known each other less than a week. I know. I live in Lahore. I know that. I'm still figuring things out. I know that too. Keep saying I know, like none of the complications matter. I know, I said again. He stared at me. Then he laughed. A real one. Sudden and unguarded. And I laughed too. And for a moment the kitchen was just 2 people in early morning light laughing at absolutely nothing and completely everything. When it faded, he was closer. Don't know when that happened, he said quietly. Can I be honest, please? I haven't felt this in a very long time. He looked at me steadily. This specific thing where someone feels like someone I already know, like we skip the part where you have to explain yourself. I knew exactly what he meant. And it scares me, he said. Because I trusted this feeling before and He stopped. Didn't go the way it should have. I know, I said. I meant it fully. I know that makes standing here feel like standing at the edge of something. I know it's easier to close. The door. I looked at him. But I would rather stand at this edge with you than stay safe somewhere else. I'm done choosing safe. He looked at me for a long moment. Yeah, he said. Just that word. Yeah. He reached across the counter and took my hand, that's all. No big moment, no perfect cinematic beat. Just his hand in mine, in a quiet kitchen, at 6:30 in the morning, with 2 cold coffees and a crooked cabinet neither of us ever finished fixing. We stood like that for a while without speaking, in the silence. For the first time all week. Wasn't asking anything, it had its answer. I drove him to the bus stop 2 hours later. We didn't say much, not because things were wrong. Because things were right, and right things don't need to be filled with words. At the entrance, he turned around. "I'm going to call you," he said. "Not a, let's see what happens kind of call. I'm calling because I want to talk to you kind of call. Okay, and you're going to pick up. I'm going to pick up." He looked at me one last time. It's a careful smile, but a little less careful now. A little more open. He turned and walked in. I stood at that door until it closed. Then I walked back to the car, sat down, and stayed still for a full minute, thinking. So this is what it feels like when something real begins. Not the version with perfect timing and no distance and no complications. The real version. The messy, terrifying, worth it version. The version where 2 people, both a little broken, both a little scared, decide quietly, over cold coffee, in an almost fixed kitchen, that the other person is worth the risk. I called Bill from the car. He left. I said, "AAAND." Billa's voice went 3 octaves higher, and nothing. Everything. I'm not telling you anything else. I knew it. From the moment I thought of it, I knew, goodbye, Billy L. You're welcome. I hung up. I was smiling. So hard my face hurt, he called that evening. I picked up before the second ring.